What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Horizon franchise and talk about if we've been getting too much of it, if we're going to be getting too much of it. I think this has always been a topic, and it's certainly been discussed even on this channel when they did the rumor. It was just a rumor. It's not yet confirmed, although it's probably going to happen. The Horizon Zero Dawn, whether it's a remake or a remaster, I'm pretty sure we've talked about, right? Like, okay, do you actually need to do that, or are you just kind of milking it for some reason? The Last of Us has been milked a pretty good amount. Horizon's been milked, and I have seen a lot of comparisons online where it's like, hey, if you think they're going hard on The Last of Us, look over into the Horizon territory, and it actually is kind of crazier or just more. And we've even made jokes like when Herman Holst, right, is now like co-CEO, and it's like, oh boy, he comes from Guerrilla. Maybe does he have like this weird love for Horizon, a weirder love maybe than others, and could we get even more Horizon stuff than we already have? I saw this tweet on Twitter from Radic, who, by the way, is just a great account in general. Every Horizon project that's in development. Now, these are rumors, so it's a little misleading, but you know what? He's doing it for clicks, and he certainly got it, so I have to commend him on it. Lego Horizon Adventures, Horizon, which is the Lego game that's been rumored, Horizon Zero Dawn Remake, a Horizon multiplayer game, a Horizon MMO, the Netflix series, and Horizon 3. Now, again, some of those are absolutely not, like, actually confirmed. They're rumors, but some of them are absolutely confirmed. We've heard an okay amount to indicate that they're doing a Horizon 3 just, over the past couple of years. So Horizon 3 is absolutely happening. The Netflix show is obviously happening. And as much as I don't want it to happen, I think the remaster remake thing, we've gotten actually quite a bit of evidence that a multiplayer type thing is going to happen for it. So, you can just go down, and although they're not confirmed, some of them have been, such heavy rumors that, hey, maybe you believe it, maybe you don't believe it. Some of them have been talked about kind of informally where, it obviously is probably going to happen. Okay, so that just leads us to the question, right? Like, is it too much? I got to be real. I think it is too much. Even if you look at what we've already gotten from the franchise, it's an interesting franchise, okay? And let me just say, because I do think I'm a little bit different than like the rest of the internet. I saw this when not just Forbidden West came out, but also when I did a lot of coverage and I talked a lot about Burning Shores, the DLC leading up, and I got to just see a lot of different, like, why is it important? I saw a lot of different opinions on Horizon over the last couple of years, making all these videos, and it'd get decent viewership where I could really see kind of a variety of thoughts. And it seems like to me that I probably like Horizon more than what I've seen online. I feel like Zero Dawn was something kind of special. It was something that almost caught people off guard with like, hey, Guerrilla goes from doing Killzone, which by the way, I'm a big fan of Killzone. I want Killzone back, but they do Killzone. They switch over to an open world, prehistoric, weird type mixture with dinosaurs with machines. And, I've said before, like, I think actually the deep lore of Horizon is actually quite interesting. Now, is it the most fascinating or attention grabbing like in the game? No, honestly, I feel like the games have a way of being a little dull. I don't think Aloy is the greatest protagonist. I think she felt like she had a little bit more she kind of has spunk throughout, but it kind of comes and goes. Like, she doesn't have spunk all the time. And I mean, look, her character background is probably some sort of an excuse you can use for her lack of like enthusiasm. Again, like, I don't hate her as a character. I don't think she's like one of the best Sony character or gaming characters, Sony characters, whatever you want to say. I don't think she's like all that high up there, but she does have her moments. But I would say overall, I do like Horizon quite a bit. I liked Zero Dawn. I actually love Zero Dawn. And I really, really liked Forbidden West. I thought that was a great game, even some of the mini-game stuff in it. But I have seen almost diminished interest, at least online. Now you could say, okay, well, Alex, online isn't everything. You're right, and that kind of is what goes to the other point. Again, is it too much? Have we already gotten too much, and are we about to get too much? Well, one thing I've said time and time again is you just look at the sales. Zero Dawn did unbelievably well. So you can argue like whether it's a good idea to massively invest in all this stuff, but Zero Dawn did so well in sales, and it became a pillar of PlayStation. When you looked at the sales of the God of Wars of the world, The Last of Us, Uncharted, Spider-Man, Horizon was right up there. In fact, I think Horizon was third. Like, Horizon did, I think, 10 plus, maybe 13 million or something insane. Horizon Zero Dawn sold so well. So, to be honest with you, I mean, look, you get that data in and you say, well, what are we supposed to do? Of course, we're going to double down on it, right? Now, from what we're kind of aware of in terms of sales, like Forbidden West didn't do nearly as well as Zero Dawn. Now, they put Forbidden West, I think, on PlayStation Plus. Maybe, was it like a year or so after it came out? There's been reports that maybe that like sunk into, like maybe that was a bad idea. Maybe they shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, if it's not going to sell unbelievably well in the first year, is it going to sell well, in the next 5 years? Which we're still kind of in that window now. Point being, why is all this important? The franchise started hot and heavy. It seemed to have a lot of engagement. The DLC even for that game was really good, right? Frozen Wilds. And it just sold really well. It's like, okay, well, let's double, triple down. So let's do a VR thing. Let's do a second game, all this jazz. And it just never has seemed to really capture, whether it's the internet seemingly losing interest, which I do think is fair. I feel like that is that's coming from somebody who likes it more than these people, obviously, right? But somebody that has definitely seen the love for Horizon, but has also seen people that said, I like the first game, but it's kind of trailed off. I've seen a lot of that. I feel pretty confident in saying that is a good, there's no actual number, but it's a good amount of people. And the biggest thing is, okay, well, where are we going, right? Like, can it keep up or can it, like, stay successful? I don't know. Honestly, I put this franchise, and this is not to be, like, a huge Debbie Downer to Sony or to this or to Guerrilla, because I think they're very talented, but, I really think this could go either way. I really do, because these games are big. These games are very expensive. The technology, Horizon looks really good. Guerrilla's really good with the engine work as well, right? So it's like, okay, these games are going to cost quite a bit. You even look at Horizon 3. Of course you're going to get a Horizon 3, right? I just feel you're kind of doing too much too fast, right? Like, this is probably, I get it. I get it because it has a little Monster Hunter vibe to it. You can see it being a multiplayer thing more than other games. You look at Horizon and you look at, say, God of War. And which one do you think would work well or better as a cooperative kind of multiplayer type thing? It's Horizon. It really is, because that kind of capturing or attacking the big monster has already kind of been done in Monster Hunter and other games, right? So it's got DNA where it works actually in several different genres. That's why you could do a VR. That's why you can do, Legos. I really don't know what the strategy is there. Maybe, going for even younger kids. So maybe that's a smart strategy. I don't know for sure, right? But can you see why they would do all of these different things? Yes. I actually do, because it's a fascinating enough world. It's an interesting concept. It's got solid gameplay. It's got the open world that they want these games to have, right? But it's got this sense that it could be a cooperative. Like, if you want a live service game, maybe that's a franchise you go into to try to make it a live service game while also doing the single player stuff, right? It's got that DNA where it can work as like this huge pillar, or just, I guess, one pillar, right? And it becomes this big thing where you can make all of these things off of it. I get it. Like, and I think I've said that before. Like, I understand why they're doing it, but I just feel they've got to be careful because, of those projects, right? If, say, all of them are real, the Lego thing is just kind of odd, but it does have potential to work. The remaster, I think, is a terrible idea. I'm never going to change my mind on that. I think you cannot be remaking, if it is a remake, you cannot be remaking games less than 10 years old. There's just absolutely zero reason why that should be happening, right? Horizon 3 is a given. The Netflix thing, look, the quality of it, we don't know, but I could understand, Sony's going into it and they're picking the franchises. Well, you got God of War and you have all these other ones. Yeah, Horizon, you're probably going to get to Horizon eventually, right, to do a live action thing. So, again, can I understand why they're doing all these things? Yes. Should you do all of these things at the exact same time? Probably not. I think you could be overloading people. And then also, you very much just, and here's the thing, like, when I say, like, you have to watch out about quality, right? Like, you got to be careful. The thing is, like, even the big ones, like Horizon 1 to 2, you could argue, and I've seen people argue, like, 2 is worse, and, it has that drop, and it's like, so if you even continue with that, right, like the big ones, not even these spin-off things, but if the main entries are going to get weaker, if that's how you perceive it, right, and if people are just not jiving with it, these spin-offs, see, it reminds me a lot of, like, these big Hollywood movies, right, when they make, like, 5 or 6 of them, and you see a clear, dip in the revenue it makes in the box office, and then all of a sudden they decide and they say, you know what, we're going to make this like a mega franchise. We're going to have like 15 spin-offs. We're going to have a TV show on it now. We're going to do, you know what I mean? It has that feel where it's like, well, Okay, but maybe number one, you should have done that earlier instead of like when you're already kind of going down. Now, Horizon, maybe it's not going as down as much as this example, right? But then also it's like, well, should you do like 10 different things at the same time on one franchise in the first place? And the answer is probably not. It also, not even just Horizon. Let me just throw this in here to end the video. I think one of the worst things that this does is not even like, yes, it does show all of these things, or it pulls your eyes to Horizon, so you can kind of go after that franchise. But it also puts Sony under the light, or PlayStation under the light. And when you have people complaining about all the remakes and remasters, or them focusing to the same like 5 franchises, right, where they don't try anything new, this doesn't help their case. And I mean, I actually kind of think it is true. Like, you've had the Kena Bridge of Spirits. You had like the Stellar Blades. Now, none of them are, those are kind of third-party deals that they signed and all that jazz. They're, in terms of what they are doing, they are not pumping out, and I've talked about this numerous times, right? They're not pumping out the amounts, literally the quantity that they were, say, in the PS3 era, where it was just throw everything at the wall, see what sticks, make a Puppeteer, make Sly Cooper, make all of this stuff, or bring Sly back, I guess, right? This is not that. This is, let's focus on these same like 5 to 7 franchises. Let's do live service, which they've backed off of, but let's do all this. You know what I mean? And I think it's just a bad look for Sony as well when you kind of pitch, okay, what's coming for PlayStation in the next 5 to 7 years? There's a lot, but like when you get to Guerrilla or you get to Horizon, you list off 6 Horizon games. Is that a good look when you say, yeah, we have like these 18 Marvel games coming from Insomniac. We got 6 of these games coming from Guerrilla, all Horizon. I mean, they're not all from Guerrilla, right? But we have 6 Horizon games. Oh, we got like 4 God of War games coming. That one is kind of just made up. But you see my point? Like when that's kind of the pitch, I can understand why people get frustrated, where it's like, man, you really rely, or Last of Us, we brought that up in the beginning. Last of Us is also a franchise they are milking kind of as much as they can. It feels like Horizon and The Last of Us are kind of like the Elder Scrolls of the world, where you release that game like 500 times. Horizon, I mean, they're not exactly the same, but I mean, Last of Us has been released multiple times. Horizon, I guess, is about to be, and Horizon has all these spin-off things. So I can understand it. I think, again, to end the video, I think it's certainly a look for PlayStation as well as it is for Horizon. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.